Okay, hello everyone. We are here in Alexandria, Virginia, and you can see all around us. Citizen journalists have come here from all over America. We don't have any Canadians, but we're going to be going up to Canada pretty soon at the end of this month. And I'm standing here. Well, this is the first person I'm running into is the one and the only Addy Ads. Addy,
Peace,
how are
people.
you?
Shout out to all my patriots worldwide, and shout out to the band George Webb as well.
And how's the strike going for you so far?
Oh, it's going well, man. I'm really grateful for being here, George. So I want to extend my gratitude for the invitation. I've definitely learned a lot. Met a lot of new and interesting people. Some new authors I'm going to check out too for reading. And we just did an interview I did with George. So we're gonna just do a little recap of that.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to just do a flyby of everybody here. Hi, everybody in Addy land. So we'll have you come back, but we're going to introduce everybody. Tara, why don't you come on over? Thanks, Addy. And you may remember, Tara, you made all 4 charrettes, right?
Yes.
All 4. And East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. Tara's there. How do you think this one's going?
I think it's going excellent. I'm so excited to meet new people and see people that we've already met.
What did you think of Len Bracken today?
Len was great.
We have authors do kind of chalk talks, and Len was talking about how COVID was kind of like Les Miserables, which I thought was interesting.
I am probably getting more educated about that kind of thing from you guys, but I do like the story application. I think the
story clock,
story clock, and even just putting things into a story form, the kind of thing where we try to add music, we try to add laughter.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we're dealing with things that
like Masonic temples behind us, sometimes we're dealing with a Masonic temple. Yeah. So
we get angry sometimes, but we turn it into productivity.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much, Tara.
Thanks.
Hey, Greg, why don't you come on up?
Okay, thanks.
You got to come down one.
Okay.
I still want to be taller. Okay. Yeah. So Greg's an author. And you wrote this book, American Watersheds in American History. Your grandfather was UAW and Teamsters, the top guy, right?
Yeah, he's first president of the Teamsters and really was responsible for starting the UAW. And I just think that was such an important story. That was really one of the reasons I set out. I really wanted to write the history, of collective bargaining and all, because when it started, there was no organized crime, and there was the same New World Order. It was called the One World Communist Government, and he was very much against that. And the Ruthers and those people, they wanted the One World Communist Government. That was the whole. And actually, without that particular strike, you probably would have eventually had that. You might have had the Marxist world or whatever of constant revolution. But through collective bargaining, we were able to avert that. And people's wages just went through the roof. I mean, they were making triple the money, and worker rights, and we really would not have evolved into a middle class without that particular event. And so that got me thinking about people that were a place and a time where they could actually change history. Somebody like George Webb was changing history, so he's an American watershed now. So, and the thing about
it is, be in the next book?
You are, because you've earned it. You've earned it. How do I keep you out? You know what I mean?
Now, I can go to AmericanWatersheds.com right now and learn more, correct?
Yep, you can get the first 2 parts. The big part's the 3rd part, but there's a lot of really useful things, and that Union history is in the first 2 the 2 parts of the series, which is 1 book actually on ebook. Or if you want the full coffee table book, their textbooks, they're expensive. They're $70, but there's something that you can just pick up and just take a piece of, and maybe you feel like you're in the mood for some music and you just want to go down into the real music of New Orleans and not the pop music or whatever, or it takes you on a journey and keeps you laughing, and movies to watch and things like that. So I like to think that you get a lifetime of information, and I'm hoping that the kids will keep that book and go back to it when they want to go, check out some music or learn something new.
And you gave us a great author lecture last night on that book, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, and actually, but George is already stealing my shtick, because what the series is supposed to lead to is basically to tell you that you can be an American watersheds. That all of you can be an American watersheds, and we want
steal from the best.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my songs. I say, I always say, steal this idea. I put a lot of ideas out there. Steal this book. Steal this idea, please. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that you all can be American watersheds. Maybe a lot of times, our journey started off just taking the first step. We didn't know where we were going to wind up in our journey. So sometimes, you have to just take that first step. My first step back into the game was penal reform, and they were putting all these people in 5-year prison sentences for small marijuana possession charges. And I said, I just can't let this happen. And so I got back in the game, and that led me to many other things. Now, maybe for you and your community, maybe you want to look at your local food situation. It's still out of whack a lot of places. In my community, we pick up all the meat, all the fruit, all the vegetables. Nothing gets thrown away. What's going on in your community? Are you just using canned goods and box stuff, or maybe it's your local court system? Like, no one's ever put people in the local courts, And when we're trying to expand this whole media idea, which is a big part of this whole thing, is the media idea. And my last show was on local origination, because my grandfather built the third cable company ever built, the first one in Michigan. But all this time, we've provided all these local origination channels, and we've always sat back and laughed and said, why don't people use them? We have no censorship. We have no censorship over them, that we have to provide them. We even give them studios and cameras and all the equipment. And we always said, why did the people never realize that? And they thought, well, we have CNN. We don't really need. But, is that really covering your local issues? Is that covering your local needs assessment? How your local, police, are they really staying in check? Are the local courts, where the judges? Is Soros paying your local prosecutor? Like, who are they getting their funding from?
And your voting machines, too. Right?
And your voting machines and poll voters and what's going on at your polls. So really, I think, the whole idea was to take some of these ideas back to local ideas, and how you can actually, when one of my stories is, don't ever think that one person can't change the world, because believe me, George Webb has. I mean, I know that he has, and I know that he's changing, and people are watching and things like that, and you can too. You may not right away be a George Webb, but begin your journey. That's what we want you to do.
Grab your 20, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean for anybody to see that. Thank you very much, Greg, for coming to the shred. Thanks.
The gate's closing in 5 minutes.
Oh, they're closing the gate. We've got to leave. You can see how the censorship works here. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you all for coming, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Sorry, gang.